Look, man. Where? Oh, I see. Wow. Oh, my. Bowen, look over there. Wow, is that culture? Yes. Oh, my goodness. Wow. Yeah. Las Culturistas.
Ding dong, Las Culturistas calling.
I want to wish my sister Matt Rogers a happy 35th birthday.
Thank you so much. And you know, I wanted one thing for my birthday, and it was for us to match. So
we're wearing these gorgeous knits?
I don't think I've really sat down and looked at and felt the quality.
Beautiful garment.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's a nice garment. Now, I just want to, just because we're numerology experts now, we've really discussed numbers in depth. 35 feels like the right age for you. Sturdy.
You think?
Yes.
I'm meant to be 35.
I think 35 looks good on you. And I think 35, Matt Rogers at 35, like, I will always say this, the name Matt Rogers, so nice.
You like that?
It's a great classic name.
You like that?
You like that? It's a great classic name, and there's something about Matt Rogers that translates in some essential way to the number 35. It's like, it's good.
You know what? Recently, I was watching a YouTube BTS video with the stars of White Lotus, Michelle Monaghan,
yes,
Leslie Bibb, and Carrie Coon. And they were asking each other, what age would you be if you could pick any age? And wouldn't you know what they all said?
35?
They all said, I would be the exact age I am right now. I would be the exact age I am right now. And they were all so gloriously being actresses to each other. And I absolutely love and worship each and every one of them.
Those are three great actors.
But it was just so funny because they were like, I wouldn't change a thing. I'd be the age I am right now. And I agree.
I would love to give 30 another go.
You would. Well,
that was 2020.
30 was stolen from us.
30 was stolen from us in 2020. I would love to just have that year of, I'm 30 now, you know, like, but it's fine. I feel like this is us in our 30s is an extended, obviously, sort of like extrapolation of that feeling.
You could always be one of the Hollywood legends that lies about their age. Okay.
Okay. Now,
by the way, do you know why you like Matt Rogers?
Why?
And why I love Bowen Yang?
No, 3 syllables.
3-syllable name. And that's actually apropos.
Yes, we've got a 3-syllable name legend.
3-syllable legend. By the way, thank you for saying happy birthday to me. I'm so happy. We're in matching looks, not just because I wanted us to be in for my birthday, but we took new photos for the podcast.
Kiss this one goodbye.
Kiss it goodbye, even though this is iconic. And can we just say, this has done us so well.
I like that my pores are visible. I really do. I'm not joking.
It's transparency.
It's transparency culture. We did not expect this to be the one.
This was so good.
This was a good one. I'll miss this one a lot.
I'll miss this a lot. But you know what? It had its moment.
It had its moment. And
like the first half of my 30s.
We're turning over a new leaf. We are officially a 9-year-old podcast.
Yes, the podcast. The podcast is 9 years old.
March 2016 is when we started. Now it's March 2025.
It sure is.
And who better to help us ring in this 9th year of our lives?
I'm very excited.
With our 3-syllable guest.
Yeah. So basically, this person is this is how I met this person on a Zoom audition for the show No Good Deed.
Amazing show,
which she created, and I was in my bathroom in New York because it was the only place I could get good lighting. So I put the Zoom. I opened the Zoom, put the computer laptop on the top of my toilet.
Yes. This was in Long Island City?
Yes.
Yes.
And I was like, I hope I can make this in some way charming. Did the Zoom audition, and that I had to, spoiler alert for the show, I do a lot of cocaine in the show. So I'm in my own bathroom, like miming cocaine, just like
off the shitter.
Literally, look, every time, you don't know this, every time in that audition, I went down to go like mime a line of coke snort, I was staring into my toilet hole.
That's pretty good.
I mean,
my toilet hole.
That's first of all, let's not pretend that's the first time you've ever done that.
Okay, more to come in this episode for that.
that.
And also created Dead to Me. She has a new podcast with a friend of the show, Jessi Klein, we're going to talk all about. And truly lovely to have her here. Everyone, please welcome into yours, my friend, Liz Feldman!
Oh my gosh, I'm thrilled to be here.
Well, it's our
Truly.
thrill.
What are your birthday wishes for our friend Matt?
Talk to me.
I wish I knew it was your birthday.
Yeah.
So that I would have come with some sort
Oh,
of gift and or a matching sweater.
Your presence is a gift. I love what you are wearing. It's a vibrant green.
Thank you so much.
We call
Kelly
it
Green.
Kelly Green?
Yeah.
I would say this is Kelly Green.
She's giving Kermit.
She's
You know
giving
what I mean?
Kermit.
Yeah.
Who's the best Muppet?
Wow. Fuck.
Yeah.
I Fozzie Bear.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the right answer.
Well, because I love funny guys.
And he's sweet too.
Yeah.
He's sweet, and also for some reason my daughter loves Fozzie Bear and
Yeah.
says Waka Waka around the house. So
What do you think it is about Waka Waka that she latched onto? Does she have the comedy bug?
she has the comedy bug. She does. Can I tell you that yesterday in the car I picked her up from school, gave her a snack, wasn't enough. She was still hungry.
Hilarious.
And I said, "What are you hungry for?" She said, "Hungry for boogers."
Oh.
And she knew she was making a joke,
Body
and
horror
I
comedy.
laughed so hard
Yeah.
that I've only, validated that, boogers are funny.
There's something about she just knows how it hits the ear. Not to say boogers, which would have been funny.
Yeah.
But hungry for boogers.
She
Hungry
actually
for
said,
boogers.
"I'm hungry for boogers,"
Even
which I
better.
think is really a strong statement.
What are you hungry for? I'm hungry for boogers.
You know who she is?
Laugh out loud.
She's the
Yeah.
next Sarah Sherman.
She's the next Sarah Sherman.
No higher
If I could
praise.
be so lucky.
I think you might be luck.
Wow.
I can't believe there are two of these sweaters in existence.
Okay, so this is what I wanted to say about this. We don't even own these. Okay, so my friend Jared, who I'm dying to introduce you to, Jared Frieder, everyone knows him. That's a Reader Katie publicist finalist, or Kyle. He came to help us sort of art direct the shoot. He buys 2 of everything.
Because
He had 2 of these.
did he want? Was this what he was dreaming up, that you would be matching?
No, because we gave him like 20 minutes notice. We're like, get down here, we need extra clothes. Like I did not pack enough for the shoot. I totally didn't realize that I should have packed for this. He came with doubles, and this is just his retail behavior is that he buys 2 of each.
What is that?
There's a pathology there.
There's a pathology there, but I have to say, I feel like it's really worked out because it's actually sort of stunning on both of you.
Can I say it really does work on us both?
It works on you both.
It does. I'm always hesitant to match because with Matt especially because it gives Tweedledee Tweedledum.
But that's who we are.
You're
I
right.
mean, no, I'm not feeling Tweedledee Tweedledum. I'm feeling Tweedle hot and Tweedle stud. You know
Tweedle
what I mean?
hot, Tweedle title of
Title
that.
of that.
Okay, so now
Oh my God, I love that for us.
what's the Tweedle blank for you and Jessi Klein?
Oh
Yeah.
wow, that is wow. Tweedle. Oh shit.
No, I'm putting you on the spot. But this is the new podcast you guys are starting
Yes.
is about adult friendships.
That's right. It's called Here to Make Friends.
Here to make
Love it.
friends.
And it's really about how hard it is to make friends in your midlife.
Yes.
Which you're not quite there yet, but wait till you see. Wait till you turn 36.
Oh, the algorithm is telling me I'm in my middle age.
What is it telling you?
So a couple things. Okay, I almost said my personal trainer, and I guess I am just gonna say it because that's what he is.
Wow.
I have a personal trainer I've started with, and he goes to me the first day we ever started working. He goes, "It's actually really good that you started now because at 35, that's when your bone density starts to go, and then at 36, that's actually when you lose any metabolism you've ever had." So it's really good that we're getting to work now. And I'm like,
Shit.
and so then I get randomly served on Instagram this, like, you know when you flip through the
Yeah.
stories and then there's one that's like a
Yeah.
targeted
Yes.
ad. It's like how 35 means you're definitely middle-aged. It's like all of a sudden, like everything had always told me like you're young, and then hit 35 and they're like you're middle-aged. We're changing, we're moving the goalpost back. 35 is middle-aged.
I need you not to be middle-aged because I'm so much older than 35.
No.
You're
That,
not.
no, I feel like middle age is 40. I'm going to be honest.
Okay.
I'll co-sign you.
yeah. Yeah.
As
you're
life
young.
expectancy
Yeah.
grows,
Thank you.
shouldn't middle age move up in number?
Yeah. Somebody said middle age is until you're 60, which I thought was generous.
That's kind of major.
Very generous.
That person's a legend that I want to meet. We should have them on their podcast.
Yeah, I'll have them on our podcast.
Befriend them.
Yes,
They seem
exactly.
like a good friend.
Do you have a theory on why it's harder to make friendships in adult and like your mid-adulthood?
Yeah, I mean, I think in part because when you're a kid, all you have is your friends.
Yeah.
You're just there to play. You're there to make believe. You don't have judgment or, needs that are clear,
Yeah.
I feel like I barely have them now.
because you're 34.
Because I'm I really don't have needs.
Yeah, talk to Matt's trainer because he'll tell you at 37. At 37, that's where you identify your needs. Yes.
No, it is true. You know what I was thinking about the other day? Remember when you were a kid, like a young kid? Remember this question? Do you want to be my friend?
Yes.
I used to ask that question on the playground, and even then it felt so intimate, but it was like this intimacy that you're allowed when you're a child to ask a pure question like that.
Oh my God, I could cry.
Truly. But that is true. Like you're allowed to be intimate and vulnerable and yourself when you're a kid. And I think by the time you get into your mid 30s, 40s, I'm just being generous by saying mid 30s. I really just mean over 40. But no, but when you get to be an older person, like there's a history that you have behind you.
Yeah.
There's like a present that you're living in where there's so many stories. Like it's like when you go on a first date with somebody.
Yes.
And you're like, which version of myself am I going to give? Like, am I going to tell them, oh, hey, my brother and my sister, like, and so Jessi and I were really lucky because we became friends in the writer's room of Dead to Me.
Yes.
And I knew who she was and she knew who I was. And we were both sort of like,
excited to be around each other.
That's great. And then when we started talking in the writer's room, I realized that like everybody was just watching us sort of like, kibitz and chit chat with each other. And like, we just had so much in common and I was so excited. And I you feel that sparkle inside with that new friend thing, which, I'm a happily married gay. I've been with my wife for 16 years. So I don't get to do the first date thing, but that felt kind of first datey. And it was really it was really sweet. And so we are weirdly kind of like friendship nerds. We love to talk about friendship.
Yeah.
And by the way, you guys we're
the biggest friendship nerds.
You are such wonderful friends to each other. Like it's such a pleasure to listen to your show, not just for the funny and the pop culture of it all, so that I feel relevant and I sort of know what's going on in the world, but also just because like you are kind to each other. You are like the living embodiment of yes and.
Oh, that is such a nice compliment.
It's true.
Very sweet.
That is.
Oh, thank you,
Liz.
Liz.
My girl that I love.
I mean, you guys love each other, and it's like it's snark free in such a wonderful, like fresh way.
You know what's interesting about that? I think because we were two gays doing a podcast talking about pop culture in the beginning, like in the breakdowns, people would talk about our podcast and we would get snarky all the time. And I'm like, is this just because we're two gay guys? Because we're not snarky at all.
Breakdowns, like as in like the comments? Or?
Like people that were like trying to explain what the podcast was.
Oh yeah, they would call us snarky and we'd be like, I guess, but that's not.
No, I would actually call you devoid of snark. I would see you guys are so like authentic and I would say very kind-hearted about your approach to pop culture.
We'll quip. We'll quip.
We'll give you a quip, and we'll give you a dragon to read. But it's Real Culture number 49. We'll quip, and we'll give you a dragon to read. But no, I mean, I do think it's like, that's very nice of you to say. I wonder if it's like, well, it's you and Jessi, so it's like you guys are obviously iconic comedians. By the way, two wonderful showrunners I've worked with.
Yes.
So are you actually...
Yes, this thread, this comment. Okay.
Jessi Klein showran. I love that for you.
And Liz created.
No good deed. But I wonder, are you kind of rolling the dice on some people because you're like, oh, we want to be friends with this person? Like we're sort of like...
that's the whole point of the podcast.
Whole. So you're not playing it safe.
Oh, not at all.
You're not bringing in like...
Oh, no, we are playing it safe because at first, you know how it is when you're first doing a podcast.
Of course.
You need... Well, it's also like people don't know what your show is. So like, no, we're not going to... Chastain's not coming on yet. You know what I mean?
You know what? She will. She's never hit the podcast circuit.
No.
Yeah, I mean, so we do have our white whales, of course, as I've heard you guys talk about.
Right,
your
white whale.
Okay,
we
thanks
totally
for
have
knowing
our
the
white,
reference.
Of course, we have our white whales, but for now we are mostly having guests on that we know on some level because they trust us enough to come on without having heard an episode because the show doesn't come out until March 14th. But the whole point is that we want to make friends and we feel excited that we got to make friends with each other. So now we're like, who else could we make friends with?
Yes.
And the excuse of just inviting them on the podcast and then essentially like bum rushing them into friendship.
Yeah.
Right.
And cornering them and basically putting pressure on them in front of a microphone to be like, but would you want to have drinks with us?
Can we do drinks?
Yes.
And answer's always yes.
And that's like the sort of blue sky fantasy, like not end game, but like that's the, like when you say like, can we be friends? Is that the image? Like eventually we just get like call each other up for like drinks, like impromptu.
Yes, 1,000%.
Okay,
like my ideal or Jessi and I have the ideal that like maybe at the end of the season we would have,
a group hang.
Like a last supper.
Oh, I love that.
You know?
Yeah.
You guys are invited.
Oh my God.
I'm doing the podcast next week.
Yeah, Bowen, we wanted to get you, but evidently you're very busy.
No,
I wanted you both on together.
I'm so available. Or if you want to have just him, I think he should have a moment with both of you.
Yeah, he should have a moment because he's like our son.
He's your son, and I'm like the exchange program.
Absolutely not.
Kid
Exchange program.
Kid from the East Coast.
Is that is? So now we know what Bowen really thinks of himself.
No, I'm just like I'm from the East Coast. That kind of thing.
But
You gotta
Bowen,
get him on.
if I may take this moment to
Take the
say what a
moment.
fan I am of yours.
Likewise, Liz. That means so much.
It means so much to me. I am a obviously longtime fan of the show that you're on. It's called Saturday Night Live.
Correct.
Yes.
And I've been watching it since I was a young child. But you are such a fucking bright light on that show, and truly the star. And you're fucking brilliant.
Thank you. Oh
Brilliant.
my God! It's
when
his
you get behind that
No,
weekend, but when
this
you
is
get
my
behind that
birthday
weekend update desk, like I
Isn't he
like
great?
lean forward.
Yeah.
I get the proverbial popcorn out. I know it's gonna be fucking great.
It's what I love about it is that it's hit or miss. But that's the show.
But that is, it's true. Nothing's perfect.
Nothing's perfect, and I love that about working there. It's like, I tried something.
Yeah, but you
know?
never fail because you're you.
Ugh, Liz, that's so nice.
It's very,
Thank
it's true.
you.
It's true.
Did
I'm
you
not just
check out the
blowing.
50th?
I did.
What'd you think?
Well, I thought there was a very handsome guy on the red carpet.
Oh,
Yeah, I
please.
thought there was
No.
just a real fucking star on the red carpet.
Didn't he look great?
By the way, his audition, just to go back to that for a second, I want you to know where that audition came from, because I had written the part, we were casting the show, couldn't find the guy at first. We were looking in, I don't know where the hell we were looking, but couldn't find him. And in the middle of the night, I shit you not, I was like, because I'm a weird, like, I wake up with ideas kind of person.
Yep.
It was like 3:00 in the morning, and I shot up out of bed, and I was like, "It's Matt Rogers! It's Matt Rogers! What am I doing?"
I'm so happy that happened.
I swear,
The spirit moved
The
you.
spirit moved me. It was like somebody whispered in my ear, and then I couldn't shake it. And then, of course, you nailed the audition. And
That's very kind. It is hard it's hard when you audition on Zoom.
no, it's terrible.
Especially
I've never
like
had a good Zoom audition.
that's the thing is like
You have clearly, but
Oh, I do it all the time. I put myself on the self tape all the time. I did it yesterday. Like it's
Heroic.
It's hard. But I really loved you as as someone who obviously a name I knew and respected so much. When they told me that you were actually going to be on the Zoom, that's when you're like, okay, well, here we go.
Yeah.
But it is hard. It's hard to like connect in a way. It's hard
Of
to
course.
really get adjustments. It's also you're seeing someone in a literal screen, which is different than the screen they'll be
Yeah.
on ultimately.
Yeah,
So
totally.
it's bizarre. So I wanted to ask you, like, as a creator and as someone who auditions people all the time, like, do you miss the in-person auditions? Because you're a director as well. I mean, you're so multi-talented. So I would imagine that like part of getting in there and like getting clay on the mound and really working is part of what you love, and it's
First
so
of all,
different
Clay on
now.
the Mound.
Play on the Mound.
Clay on the Mound is that a Sudi Green thing?
It's a thing that
I
like
like it.
Sudi and Celeste and I always say,
Yeah.
we're like, get Clay on the table.
Clay on the
I
table.
love
Clay on the
that.
table. I like
Yes.
Clay on the Mound kind of hits the ear better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Clay
I
on the
that.
Mound. I'm interested in.
Yeah.
It's just auditioning is so different now.
Well, it is. If I'm just a person, I like
Yeah.
people. I like to sit here. I mean, I love the fact that we're doing this in person and not on Zoom.
yeah.
Oh, God.
And I really do miss the interpersonal stuff that you get. Also, I used to be an actor,
Right.
so I know what it's like to go in that room and be nervous or unsure of the choice you're making, and then the people
Totally.
are there looking at you. It's so vulnerable. So I at least want to be there for the people to be like, hey, I got you. Like, it's fine. There's no, like, we'll work on it. We'll do it,
Yeah.
So thank you for doing that from your bathroom on Zoom.
Well, like ultimately, it was either that or like I
Don't do it
wasn't
at all.
gonna be able
Exactly.
to do it. It honestly is one of my favorite roles I've ever played. Maybe my favorite role I've ever
It
played.
is a brilliant casting because I know exactly what you mean. It's like it's a very specific kind of person.
It is.
And like for Matt to just sort of be like this perfect invisible hand throughout the entire season, and like it's just you're so good in it.
He's so good in it.
Matt Rogers, Ray Romano, what chemistry!
Who knew?
I just saw him at the 50th,
and he was at 50.
Oh my gosh!
Great.
I mean, that was all the talk. First of all, you were incredible in the show, and what a great improviser. So many of his best lines were from your head to your mouth, not from my little typies.
Well, that's also you providing a space for that, which is another compliment I'll give you. Is that like it's so rare. Okay, I'll say this: good leadership, like what you show, is just rare. And so one of the things I loved about working with you is how decisive you are when you've got what you wanted, and how you move on like confidently, and everyone else can feel confident around you when. When a leader is just like, we got it and we're joyfully moving on. And then no one has to go home and feel strange or odd or anything like that, because it's like, we did it. And Liz always included a fun run.
I mean, how could you not? When you have Matt Rogers, you're going to let him do his thing.
No, I just mean like that, like, and for everyone at home, it's like that take at the end when it's, you kind of got it and it's one for fun, and it's that chance to like improvise. And, if you're lucky to really connect with a character and have ideas for it, and like it's a collaborative set, like, I found that a lot of the stuff that was in the show ended up being
I would say you wrote probably half your lines, if not more.
I don't know.
He's
about
a
that,
writer
but,
too. I don't know if you knew,
but just being in that type of environment where it's just like constant, like obviously the cast is the cast, and if you haven't watched No Good Deed yet, you should.
I mean, you get to see
good.
Matt Rogers with Lisa Kudrow, Ray Romano. I mean, it's pretty amazing.
Did you ever? This is a weird question because you've worked in the business for so long, but like, do you get starstruck? Do you get nervous around
Did you
talent?
guys get starstruck?
Yes,
definitely.
Oh,
maybe you do. You still?
Well, I do. I've had recent moments of star striking.
Yeah.
Especially at SNL 50.
Oh, that was
my
crazy.
God. Well, that was every single famous person in the entire universe was there.
Liz, I know this is not a brag, but there was just a remarkable number of them who were like, I love the podcast. And we were like, and to both Matt and like, because Matt and I watched it, and it was like every 2 minutes, it was like crazy A-lister.
Who were some of the surprises?
Okay, we can say.
Tell me.
Claire Danes.
Claire Danes. So basically, like, whenever I see anyone like going over to Bowen and being like, "Oh, Bowen," I'm like, "Yes," because Bowen, I agree with you, is the star of SNL, is the truth and the light, it's Bowen, and it's the 50th. Everyone's excited to talk to Bowen. Claire Danes turning to me and like just calling me by my first name. I was like, I can't believe it. This is the best actress ever,
the greatest.
Like, and then we just like had a moment with her,
Claire Danes, and then 2 minutes later, Sarah Jessica Parker, Matthew Broderick coming down the stairs, SJP clocking us, bowing to us.
Stop. Wow.
It was, and then
SJP.
I mean, that's she puts the pop in pop culture. I mean,
yes,
she
does.
She is the New York woman.
She is the New York woman.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like,
yes.
Anyway, so like this is so sorry to answer your question, and this just turned into a whole name drop fest. But like,
I mean, I asked you. I'm like asking for. I'm sucking the names out of
great.
it. Really.
There you go. But you with like, with Kudrow and with.
I mean, listen. It's almost like so. It's not even that I get sometimes I get starstruck, but most of the time I know I'm going to see the person. Like if it's a surprise, if it's like I'm running into them at a party and they're like, I listen to your podcast, like that's different. That's like, like sending a sweet shiv down my spine, but like with Lisa Kudrow, I had been watching Friends every night. Mm-hmm. And her name came up in casting, and I was like, "But I watch her on my TV." I was very excited to meet her, but then I know that I have to present myself as a leader. And thank you so much for what you said. That's very, very kind to say. But I know I have to I have to be confident when I meet her and not treat her like she's this thing that is unattainable to me, because then why would she want to work with me?
Yeah, because she's very much quite there, attainable.
Yes, she's very much right.
She's interesting.
I'll tell you, this is a true story. This morning, I'm getting ready because one of the great parts about my job, especially when I'm in development on like a new thing, is that I get to sit and meet actors, and they just they just go, "Do you want to meet so and so?" And I go, "Yeah." It's like going on like a lunch date with the most random, wonderful people. So this morning I'm getting ready to have breakfast with Pamela Anderson.
Oh, we were just talking about her in the car.
Are obsessed.
She's, and I don't use this word often, a queen.
Yeah,
she's a queen.
And I'm looking at myself in the mirror and I don't have makeup on, and I'm like, you know what? she's not going to wear makeup.
Yeah.
I know that that's her thing. And like, do I do it? Do I show up to my breakfast with Pamela Anderson with no makeup on, and I take one look at myself in the mirror and I go, you know what? I'm not working from the same baseline as Pamela Anderson.
Stop! Oh, please.
And I was like, spackle it on.
She's a Canadian queen. She doesn't give a fuck.
She doesn't, but I wanted to feel like, you know, I was presentable, so I did put some makeup on, and I was still like, you know, a 14th as gorgeous as she is.
Starstruck meeting her?
I wasn't
No,
starstruck.
because you want to be...
No, right, because again, I'm like trying to be like, let's collaborate on something maybe, you know, but I do sit in awe is what I'll say. Like I'm not maybe struck, but I sit in like complete respect and awe of people who, especially like her, people who have been through the fucking ringer because of pop culture, because of our thirst for her fame and her gorgeousness and, you know, the way in which society has, you know, objectified her over and over again and truly like turned her into an object, you know. And let me tell you, she's fucking brilliant. Yeah. She's so smart. She's way better read than I am. Like, she's making references and I'm nodding like I know what she's talking about. No idea what she's talking about. I mean, I was so impressed.
So impressive. She's she has a Criterion Closet episode where she's just
really
like
good.
Knows every
she was naming movies. She was talking about Jenna Rollins movies that I mean, like she's just such an impressive human being.
Yep.
And given everything that she's gone through, like, you know, to have your story be stolen is I think kind of almost among the worst things that can happen to a person, you know, like that's her story to tell. And, you know, I get that it's you know, it seems like it's part of the universe and it's, you know, up for grabs, but that's really rough.
Right. I will say, going back to what Matt was saying about your leadership, this is such a backtrack, but he was coming off of that set every day being like, I mean, Liz Feldman, what a fucking queen. Like, truly
that's so nice.
Was so happy and grateful and learning so much from that experience, and it all shows. That show is so great.
Thank you so much.
It's fantastic.
Thanks.
And also, you have to know how nervous I was, like, because it will be one thing to book a show with Lisa Kudrow, you know what I mean, like, because that's another thing is it's like, you know, BTS for the readers and everybody at home, it's like you open your email, you're lucky enough one day to get any audition because they're very rare now. You know what I mean? And you open it up and it's like, it's the new Liz Feldman show, which is already so exciting in and of itself. Everyone loves, you're really like, it's such an exciting name to see yours when you're an actor too, because you know it's going to be, like, I would imagine that every actor is taking all the meetings with you because they love Dead to Me and they see No Good Deed and they see this. There's just so much potential for them to do things.
That's so sweet.
You know what I mean?
You.
And like every character is interesting, which is rare. But it's like you see, and Lisa Kudrow is attached. That would be enough to give you a panic attack, even on an audition where you're not actually going to interact. And then it's like Ray Romano. The name that really took me out was Linda Cardellini.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Took me out. Like, true, like, acting hero of mine.
She's
and
incredible.
it just didn't stop from there. I was a huge fan of every single person. And then he goes, it's like the Super Smash Brothers of television.
That's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
I thought that, and I used it in press.
You did. I mean, but it's true. But here's now here's
no, I did. I give you credit.
Here's where I'm gonna go back to. I was about to say here's where I go down on you.
Yes, go down.
Here's where We 69 is you showed up, and I swear to God, he stole every fucking scene he was in. He stole every scene he was in, and Matt Rogers and Ray Romano turned into this like comedy team.
No.
I mean, you look out. Bowen.
I know.
I mean, it could be Ray sitting there in that matching sweater.
In this sweater, yes.
But for some reason, I mean, like, you would never think like Ray Romano, like salt to the earth from, you know, although you're not from too far apart from each other. Maybe it's
because
like
he's Queens and I'm Long Island, so
Yeah.
there was enough there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but again, like, you know, I watched him since I was a kid.
I'm same. I mean,
get the
it's,
vibe.
And what a great fucking guy he is too.
Yeah.
What
He's a great guy.
It was like a set of mentions.
Everyone was very nice.
I love it.
Yeah,
Very,
it was,
very nice.
and to be honest, that was like the whole goal that I had is now that I get to be a person who, picks actors and hires, crew and stuff, I'm like, I want to go to work and be surrounded by people I really enjoy being around. Nice, kind, talented, but people who inspire me, people who are like, if I'm going to go leave my 2-year-old daughter at home and my wonderful wife, who I actually really like, I want to show up to people who I feel like are my family. And it was so nice because we really did create that on No Good Deed.
This is friendship nerding. This is being a friendship nerd. It's like where you're saying you and Jessi are friendship nerds. Right?
Yes,
it's
100%.
This is nerding out about like the right chemistry of people.
Yes,
in a way.
yes.
And in the writing, in the writers' room too, I would imagine, because what I loved most about the set, and I'm experiencing now on another show I'm working on, is I go over to Video Village and it's like a bunch of people. Like, you have such a great group of ladies that you
we have
work
a good
with.
group. We have a good
like
group.
Kelly.
Yeah, Kelly Hutchinson is my one of my best friends of 30 years. We were college roommates.
Where to go to college?
We went to Boston University.
There we go.
Great.
We lived on Commonwealth Avenue, and we were roommates. She was an acting student. I was a TV student, and we used to smoke cigarettes in our apartment with the windows closed.
Yes,
because that's what you did.
Because you had a dark inner life.
Yes, we did have a dark inner life, and we just got really stoned on really bad weed and drink horrible wine and have the greatest time. But she was an actress on Broadway for many, many, many years, and was like, you know what, I think I want to try my hand at writing. Sent me her script and said to me it was her first show, and we've been working together ever since.
Wow.
And I mean, she's truly one of my best friends in 30 years of friendship. So I have her, and then Silvertree, who's my producing
director,
Silver. Is an incredible director, but like we're good friends.
Yeah.
And so I'm just in it for that. Like, I'm in this whole business for friends.
Yeah.
And, that's all it is for me, is connections. It's human connection with people. I want to create that with people at home that I maybe never get to meet, but I also want to create it with the people that I get to see every day.
So because of the 50th and everything, I was talking to Kristen Wiig, and you guys were in an improv group together years ago.
So,
what were those days?
Crystal Wiig is what I like to call her. So Crystal and I were in the Sunday Company and the Groundlings together. But even before that, we were in an all-female improv group, which was obviously called The Last Women on Earth. And we go way back. I was a bridesmaid in her wedding, her first wedding.
Wow.
Yeah. That's my girl.
So this obviously predates SNL.
Oh gosh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, we were children. I mean, I think I met her. I was 22 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
In LA.
In LA, we met at the Groundlings. We met on like a WOW improv class at the Groundlings, which is just like a drop-in class. And I think we saw each other and we were like, you're funny.
Connected.
We were connected, definitely.
That's very much us.
And I'm getting all mournful now because I'm like, I think it's still happening. I think it's coming back from the pandemic, but like something about like improv culture being kind of wiped away is really sad, because that was the way that you and I made friends with people out of college.
It's how I've made so many of my dearest friends. Truly, it's why I went to BU. I was visiting a friend, my friend Dan Fogler, not to name drop, but a wonderful actor. Yeah. And he was at BU. He was my best friend from high school. I was coming off a TV show called All That, which was my first show.
Well, yes.
I've been doing this a long, long time. And I was like, fuck, I just want to go hang out with my friend in college. He's like, well, I'm auditioning for the improv group. You should just come with me. I'm like, I don't go to school here. I went anyway, got in, and they were like, well, if you went to school here, you could be in this group. And I was like, okay.
You transferred?
So I didn't transfer. I wasn't even going to school. I went into the admissions office, filled out an application, did an interview, and I got in. And that's why I went to BU. For the improv.
Crazy.
That's even more, because I would tell people, one of the big reasons I went to NYU was because I did all my research, and Danger Box was like the group that I was focused on, and then I went. But that's a whole nother level of like, you were literally led and motivated by that team.
I was quite literally, I didn't even know like what I was going to study. I didn't even care about any of it. I just wanted to be in the improv group.
Wow.
And I made like one of my best friends for life in that group. I'm still friends with so many of the people from the group. And, and then out here in LA, all my original friends were from the Groundlings. I did that for 5.5 years.
Isn't it wild how that works out? Like, we tell this story sometimes, but so many of our friends from those comedy groups, I was a Hammer Cat, so I did sketch comedy, and Bowen was Danger Box, he did improv, but we were kind of all one big community. And so many of those people are like still working, super successful, still our friends. You know what I mean? It's just, and I remember when Rachel Bloom won the Golden Globe.
We were at home.
We were
apartment.
at Bowen's apartment in downtown Brooklyn. And I was like, you know what's wild? Like, I think we might have been right. Like, the people that we thought were special, like, actually are.
Yeah.
And then that obviously, like, in so many ways has proven to be true, but it is sort of like, you have to check yourself at that point. You're like, wait, am I okay? Like, am I living in like a simulation where it's just like, how could this actually have been, you know, the destiny of us all, like whatever that means, you know what I mean? Not to be totally woo or whatever, but it's like you talk about like the friends that you made all the way back then, and like it's really possible to have those communities endure.
It is. And I mean, like when I was in the Sunday company at the Groundlings, Caitlin Olsen, Dax Shepard, you know, and by the way, all three of us were cut.
What? You, Caitlin Olsen, and Dax Shepard were cut from Sunday Company?
Yeah, sorry. I have to fix my bra strap because it's
fix your bra strap.
I guess I'm getting skinny.
You're wasting away in front of us.
Wait, who the fuck cut you guys?
I mean, listen, it happens, but it is actually in a weird way the best thing that ever happened to me. So
it's like the people at SNL who get cut, and like it's like your Jenny Slates who like go on and become.
I mean, Jenny's brilliant.
And brilliant.
I have I'm friends with several other gals.
Yes.
Yeah,
and. I mean, one thing about SNL 50 is so many of them showed up.
It was
so
amazing
many
to
one
see.
season people came, and they were all so happy, and they're all doing so well.
So well.
Yes.
But it's just, it was like, this was my thing. There was just no bitterness at this thing, and I was expecting even bitterness from me, where I'm like, oh God, like, aren't we all so tired, and aren't we all so stressed out about this big show, and it's all led up to this for like so many years, and it was all love and warmth.
It was, and I have to say, as a person watching it at home, all 6.5 hours of it, or however long it was, very long, but I could have kept watching. My wife and I were so excited to watch it, and you know, like, I mean, that's SNL is sort of like a family reunion for the audience too.
Oh, that's
you know,
nice.
because so many of us like grew up watching it. My brother's 7 years older than me. He used to show me episodes that I in no way should have been watching. You know, at like 5 years old. You know, so these are all people that we've all grown up with.
Right, but it goes back to this like improv thing where I don't know, it's just harder and harder for people to like connect in this like scaled up way where it was like you were just meeting so many people whenever you were doing shows or whenever you would like do like rehearsals or practices or whatever, you know, like, and
developing together too is such an important thing, I think, you know, in terms of grounding friendship. You know what I mean? How many times did we go to each other's shows where there was like 14, 15 people? You know, one time Bowen and I did a show for one person.
Oh, yeah.
And we were like, it was at the Pit Underground.
Oh, sure.
And
I remember the Pit.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I've been there.
We were performing as our filthy, slutty lip sync duo Sluck.
Perfect.
So his name was Slut and my name was Fuck. Together we were Sluck, and we would essentially for a half hour.
Where do you guys come up with this stuff?
That was actually our peak.
There
was a time. Do you remember when I would look at my Google Calendar? I bet I still can.
There was so many Sluck.
Sluck was all over. Like everyone wanted to book Sluck. Sluck opened for Joel Kim Booster's first special taping.
That's right.
Oh my God, that's
Sluck
hilarious.
was everywhere. Sluck has performed everywhere.
Now I'm embarrassed. I hadn't heard of Sluck.
No, it's okay.
No one knows about Sluck anymore, but Sluck may return.
Sluck will be at the first Trump Kennedy Center honors.
Yeah. He wants us.
I love it. You know what we should do? I'm going to say it right here on air to put the pressure on you. We should get a super group of queer improvisers together and do a charity show for trans youth.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Yes, okay.
Yeah,
well,
let's do it.
Let's do it.
Josh and Aaron.
No pressure even. Let's
I think we should
absolutely do that.
Because there's some really brilliant improvisers here in LA too, and that I've had the great pleasure of, like Drew Droege and
legend.
Yep. I mean, the greatest.
Yeah.
Sam Pancake, some really wonderful
Sam
people.
Pancake.
I mean, there's some, we should do that. We should absolutely
do you know Brandon
that.
Scott Jones?
Yes.
Yeah, Brandon Scott Jones from Ghosts.
Yes.
He was like,
I think I did a improv show with him.
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, like he's one of the ones that like from the very beginning. It's just so wild how so much really paid off. I was talking actually in my group chat the other day about how UCB really did create some incredible actors because of that
Absolutely.
space in Chelsea. It was like that thrust stage.
Yep.
And because it was so small and because the audience was so engaged, because there was an era, I'm sure in LA as well, where it just felt like everyone was so excited about improv and sketch.
Yeah.
I think it was around, it was definitely 2006, 2012-ish, around there, when SNL was like really hitting in that era because of like, I think like the way it was, corresponding with politics,
Yeah.
etc. It was in the air that like to succeed in comedy, you had to be at UCB and be around it. It felt like in New York.
Oh yeah, we flew to New York from LA with our show just to perform at UCB.
Wow.
Did you do Del Close?
I did do Del Close.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Yep.
The 24-hour.
Yep.
Yes. We went on at some hilarious hour, like 4:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
or
Bit shows. No,
something.
the
The
bit
bit
shows
shows were
slots
the
were
best
perfect. It was like
part.
4 in the morning, 3 in the morning.
That was an incredible experience.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Yes.
Yeah, at
totally.
4:15 in the morning, I went on and did like a thing where it was like everyone, it was all gay guys, and we were all pretending to be Boston straight guys. And I came out, and I remember I ate a carrot off the ground. And I literally did this whole stupid
so
bit where I was like,
straight.
should I
So
eat
straight.
this carrot? Nah. And everyone was like, no. I was told afterwards that it had been in someone's ass, the bit
And
performance
you had
before.
eaten the carrot.
Someone had put the carrot in their ass
Man.
and left it on the stage. And when I came out, I didn't know that. And so I took the carrot. I was like, I'm going to eat this carrot. They were like, no. I put it in my mouth
Let's
and
not
ate
pretend
it.
that was the first time.
Yeah, that's my kink. My kink is
Just to
carrot
call
ass.
that back.
But no, what I was saying was like the style of the stage being thrust, and because the audience was so engaged and it was so small, it created such good actors because they could do such small
Choices,
stuff.
yeah.
Like I remember Middleditch, Aubrey Plaza, Ellie Kemper, Darcy Carden, Brandon Scott Jones, like all these people that ended up having success in television.
Yeah.
Like that, they came from an era where you could develop as a live performer,
Yes.
but it still it fed the on-camera work.
It was for like, because it was black box thrust.
Yes.
It wasn't just a
Yes.
thrust space.
Yes.
So you could like
I miss that space.
kind of like play to your angles. I don't know. I'm not making total sense, but like you could like, it was a way to like play to like an angle / camera, or just to play to an audience that was in front of you in
Yeah.
that thrust setting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting that you say that because the Groundlings is a proscenium.
Uh-huh.
It's a much more sort of presentational
Theater.
theater. And the characters tend to be bigger.
Yes.
You know-
I remember hearing that and being like, should I move there? Because I always got the note I was too big.
Speaking of Kudrow, wasn't season 2 the comeback where she does like Groundlings classes
With
or
Jimmy
something?
Fallon.
With Jimmy Fallon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Jimmy Fallon should also be in our little
he's our
improv
favorite
show.
person
He's
One of our
ever.
favorite people.
I love him. He's wonderful. And, I have known him since he was, a
baby.
wee improviser.
Yes.
And I love him, and I'm so proud of everything he's becoming.
Yeah.
And so much more to come. And wait, what were we just talking about before that? Oh my God, I'm so
Talks
sorry.
about
stages,
thrust
groundlings,
stages and
proscenium.
Lisa Kudrow was a groundling.
Yes.
Yes, of course.
And then a teacher?
And then a teacher. And she said, recently we were talking, she said she was a terrible teacher.
I bet
She-
that's not
I
true.
couldn't do it. I could never teach.
I couldn't either. I couldn't, nope.
Really?
I used to,
With
I
this
used to teach
leadership?
sketch, not at UCB.
Oh.
No, I'm not like I can only like lead under great duress.
Were you under duress? Because you didn't show that on No Good Deed. Did you find yourself under duress?
No, I think I just mean pressure, like external
Yes.
pressure. Like here's a multi-million-dollar budget on your
Right.
shoulders. Like don't fuck it up.
Right.
Do you like show running?
I do.
You do?
I do. It's like a sickness, but I do like it.
It's so hard.
very hard. It's very hard, but it is 11 jobs in one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like 8 of them.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
What are the 3 you don't like?
Therapists.
I
Yeah,
Right.
I mean,
I actually don't mind that part. I
Okay.
don't mind the managerial stuff,
Mm.
and I don't mind the interpersonal stuff.
Great.
I don't love the tech stuff. I don't love that,
Sure.
and I don't love like props meetings.
Who does?
Like just going over like here's the prop. I mean, like I'm not a detail person, which I'm much more of a
Big
macro
picture, yeah.
gal. And my wife is micro, I'm macro, and so we make a good pair.
Love.
And but I do really like it because I love coming up with something from nothing. It's like this part that I'm in right now where I get to just sort of dream up a new world is so fun. I get to people my world. I get to create a writer's room of people I want to spend time with, and then think of actors I want to work with. And
she pointed to us.
She pointed to us. She gestured.
Lucky us.
It was more of a no.
Oh God,
guys, 100%. I would work with you again in a heartbeat, and I would work with you for the first time in a heartbeat. I would be lucky too.
No.
Bowen.
She offers you a part right here now.
No,
I'm like,
that's not how it works.
I sound right for that. We don't really compete for because you don't audition anymore.
I keep because I don't think I'm good at it.
Bowen,
I'm a bad auditioner. No, I can cop to that.
He always booked. Like I remember back in the day when we both were up for SNL. I remember I was like. When you booked that, I was like, wow, he books, because he would book all the time. And I felt like I had to book SNL in order to make a career happen.
Interesting.
I was like, this is the only thing I'll be right for, because I always got the note too big. I just thought I'm never going to work on camera.
You're not too big for me, baby.
Don't you agree with this now? Like, I watch him on No Good Deed, and I'm like, there's no one more compelling to watch on screen.
Okay,
First of all, almost every review or thing that was written that I read, because I didn't read them all, but like
underlined,
they highlighted Matt Rogers, who, by the way, is in a cast of very, very, very large cast of characters.
Yes.
I mean, there's 9 series regulars, and people are talking about Matt Rogers.
That's very kind.
Who's in many episodes, but like there's, I mean.
I could watch him in anything and any kind of thing, and yeah.
You guys are being too much.
I saw you and I love that for you, and I'm like, who is this guy?
I loved that show too. That show was gone too soon, man.
I agree. I
can't believe no one wanted that. Like because they went out to pitch it again, and I was just like, this is like, you have so much proof of concept here. The second season was fully written. I feel like I can say all this now because it's been a long time, but I was just like, that just goes to show the industry is in such a rough spot. That show was good.
Yeah,
it had fans.
Yeah,
it had like you could put it on a Netflix homepage with like Molly Shannon in the fucking.
Literally no reason for people to say no. No reason for a network to say no.
No.
Yeah.
And yet.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, it was an unfortunate, timing thing. It was you guys were a victim of a regime change, which is like
and
tons of regimes changing.
Yes.
Anyways, all this is lovely, but there's a question we have to ask you.
Okay.
So, Liz Feldman, this is the question that we ask all of our guests. And you'll be no different. What was the culture that made you say culture was for you?
I'm gonna say the culture that made me say culture was for me was the original L Word.
Wow. Oh. So Kate Manning must have been huge.
I mean.
Yeah, because she was on No Good Deed.
Icon.
Yeah.
Well, so here's the true story, which is that, there was nothing for lesbian culture in terms of, really being in the mainstream other than when Ellen came out, but that was she really died on the cross for us on that
100%.
one. Truly. And, but it wasn't necessarily about, affecting sort of pop culture. That was about society to me.
Yes.
Her coming out was about changing the temperature of how we feel as a society about gay women.
All respect for what she did. All respect.
But the L Word was different because it was a fantasy. But it was a fantasy that was set in a reality that did sort of exist. It just didn't exist for me.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
And you're saying the L Word is cultural instead of societal?
Yes, I do think the L Word is cultural. I mean, societal, I think,
not instead
then
of,
as a result.
Yes.
But cultural in that, and listen, I'm going to say a few things that may be offensive to other queer women out there, but I'm a gay woman who grew up in the 80s and 90s. We had no role models, no direct role models. We were grasping at straws. We were grasping at an MTV VJ Duff. We were grasping at like the girl from Just One of the Guys, which was an 80s movie literally before you were born. But there was nothing for us that we were grasping at Mary Stuart Masterson as some kind of wonderful who was a straight person, but seemed sort of gay.
But there was iconography there that you could relate to in an abstract way. Yeah.
Like, thank you, Katie Lang. We appreciate your work.
Sure.
But when the L Word came out, I remember watching it with my one lesbian friend that I had in Los Angeles at the time, and just thinking, oh my God, it's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible. Where are these women? They must exist. They must exist. And we were so enamored of this culture and this sort of group of friends that were created on the show that I kind of think we manifested it because we eventually met them.
Yes.
And I was a stand-up at the time, and I was writing and stuff, and I was doing stand-up at Dinah Shore Weekend, which for the dear readers, that is the lesbian sort of like Coachella, if you will. And I was doing stand-up, and the L Word gals were doing a like, you know, meet and greet kind of
while the show was still on.
While the show was still on, and somebody took them to come see my stand-up, and I had been doing the silliest vlogs. Yeah, I said vlog. That's right.
Oh no! Don't say it with your chest.
I had been doing these very silly vlogs with some other lesbians where we essentially like recapped the L Word. We made fun of the L Word and recapped it, and they had been watching it unbeknownst to me. The cast had been watching these vlogs, and Kate Menning came up to me and said, "I'm a huge fan," and I almost fainted.
This is
hottest
your
woman alive.
Sarah Jessica Parker coming up.
100%.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, I'm gonna make fun of yours," and we have been friends ever since.
Oh my God.
Dear friends. She's one of my dearest friends.
She's great and no good dude.
She's
too.
wonderful.
She's so
I wrote the
good.
part for her.
Well,
I mean, it's like,
tracks.
you know, it's who else could be that person?
You don't even like, obviously you do know, but like when it hit on Netflix and everyone freaking the fuck out when they saw Linda Cardellini in bed with Kate.
You're welcome.
Like it was
So
such like, how much of that was you being like, tee hee hee, the lesbian? I'm feeding the lesbians right now. You had to know.
You have to think about your audience a little bit.
Well,
but
because then you think back and you're like, you're an audience that wanted that at one point.
Exactly.
Forget about that.
I think that's the most important thing to do when you are in the very lucky position to create shows is create something you want to watch, because the odds are other people want to watch it too.
But that's so incredible that you would go from making that very astute observation about Ellen or about that time period of having no role models to, I mean, this is my nose is so far up your ass, but you are that role model now.
Oh, that's
you know what I mean? And it's like, I thank you for reminding us of this, because it's kind of the same with gay male culture. There might have been, we've been spoiled our, you know, whole cultural lives. There have always been queer men at the fore in some ways, but I feel like there was this wasteland of a period in the aughts, and especially in the 90s. But like I remember just being on IMDb message boards being like, is this actor gay? Like that was our only way of figuring it out.
Right.
You know?
Yes.
And now how many like, not open secrets, but like how many people just like are gay and are huge stars?
Huge.
Like, and they're either out, or it's not that they're not out, it's just not a thing.
It's not a thing.
Exactly.
It's just no one really talks about it. And it's, I guess it's better, right?
It's better. It's like you have like a Coleman Domingo who's like a Best Actor nominee twice over now, and you're like, oh, it's not hampered you in any way.
No, because it's really not a thing.
It's not a thing.
Insofar as you guys being brunettes shouldn't be a thing.
Sure,
and,
sure.
And being Asian shouldn't be a thing.
Sure.
And being like, you're a talented artist with something to say. That should be the thing.
Exactly, which gives me hope for like the way that like trans people still keep getting vilified and keep like getting put through the ringer in terms of like, oh, we like them now or we hate them now, we like them now. It's like it seems like society has not figured out how to feel about trans people, especially now. But it's like, oh, but you literally have a trans Best Actress nominee, despite all the things that she's done.
Yeah.
She's still a compelling actor. She still delivered an amazing performance.
Yep.
And it just gives me it's like, oh, like if we can extrapolate, hopefully that means something in the near future that's like pretty incredible. I don't know.
But that is one of the things that I love about the entertainment business and about being storytellers is that we do sort of help society tip, you know, and I think we were so close to a tipping point with the trans community and with the perception of trans people. And unfortunately, the forces of
they scapegoated them.
Yeah. And they pulled them, you know, in this tug of war to the other side and turned people against them just totally based out of fear and bad statistics.
Mm-hmm. It's also wild because that show, The L Word, gets rediscovered all the time.
Yes.
In fact, when I was at Coachella last year, Renee Rapp performed and she had the cast of The L Word introduce her because it's her favorite show.
Of course.
And just like watching
there's a Gen Z audience like
yes. I mean, you know, The L Word came back
Yes.
The next
and
gen.
I think it was the next gen Z.
Yep.
That was less for me because I, was more of an OG fan.
Right.
But it was also just even fashion wise and, just the way in which that we present ourselves. Like, when I was growing up in the 90s, it was very like flannel shirt, unfortunate haircut times,
What was the haircut?
I had a mullet. I did have a mullet.
Oh, yeah.
More of a late 80s mullet.
Right.
Mullet, like more of a junior high kind of vibe.
Got it.
Or like even middle school. My style icon at the time was Alex P. Keaton from Family Ties.
Wow.
By the way, I didn't realize this, that he was like a conservative icon.
Well, because
Michael J.
not an
Fox.
icon, but the bit of him was that he had liberal parents, and that he was an 1980s like young conservative man,
Right.
being like, "This is the way we're going to do it."
Sure.
Yeah,
I
he was
didn't
the
know that.
outlier of his family, and I loved that show unknowingly because I was the outlier of my
Yes.
family. So even though he was playing this like conservative Republican kid, I related to that character because it was almost as if he was the gay kid in
The
his
inverted,
family.
yes. I love it.
But then the L Word, like the fashion was like on point. They were hot. They had cool haircuts. They did cool things. They went out. They forged this whole community and life, that I just wanted so badly.
Yeah.
And the irony is that just a few years later, I got to have it with those actresses
people.
who
Yeah.
played those parts. And like, I just, manifestation is real, baby.
Oh, I know it. Like that's actually so true.
So true.
It's also so important to hear you say and to remember, write something that you would want to watch, because that actually makes creating so much easier.
Yeah.
Like it's just it's one of those sentences. And I'm almost connecting it to an improv thing, which is, this always makes it easier for me too, which is, if this is true, what else is true? It's just an easy generator.
Mm-hmm.
But like, write something that you would want to watch is like,
So
of course I would
intuitive.
do that. You know what I
Right.
mean? And like, and also if you're thinking about it that way, you're not the only one. You know?
No.
Like, so it's really easy, fun in.
Yeah, it's going to make it a better write
Totally,
for you.
of course.
If you want to, if that's the kind of thing you're going to be interested in watching, you'll be more interested in writing it too. And it won't
Absolutely.
make it as painful of a process, though it's always painful.
When were you out? So like, how far along in your queer journey were you when L Word fell like upon your lap?
Oh, I was pretty far. I mean, I was like 26 or 27. So I mean, that's how long of a dearth I was operating in. And I kissed my first girl at 16. I was totally seduced by a girl who had gone to boarding school, and she knew things I didn't. And thank you so much. And I didn't really know exactly what I was, because I had actually weirdly been boy crazy before I had kissed a girl, then became girl crazy.
Yeah.
And so, this was long before fluidity or even bisexuality was like a really accepted thing.
Yeah.
And so I was like still sort of trying to figure myself out. And my mother at 17 years old, so I'm a senior in high school, gave me a letter, and she said, "You're going to read this in the car, and I'm gonna drive, and you're gonna read it in front of me." And she was driving me to my SAT tutor at the time, and I opened it up, and it was two poems. One poem was a daughter talking to the mother. It rhymed, and it was something like, "I don't know what to say when a girl walks by my way. I think I might be gay." And I'm reading this, and I'm in no way, shape, or form ready to like come out. Then the second letter is actually a poem from the mother to the daughter, also rhyming. And it said something like, have no doubt, we'll figure it out, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I was stunned. So my mother outed me at 17. I'm going to guess a full 5 years before I would have probably done so myself. And so that really started my journey.
Did that feel like an act of kindness or an act of like shock? Like
Imposition.
please, yeah. Or did it feel like an imposition?
It was a shock. I would call it a shock because I wasn't ready.
Of course.
And I appreciate that she saw me, but she almost like saw me too well. It's like, she saw the X-ray version of me where, like it was bones and everything. And I wasn't really ready for that. And I was mostly not ready to tell my father, who at the time was quite homophobic. And so I was like, just please don't tell Dad. I mean, it's 1994. 1994.
Wow, yeah.
So please don't tell Dad. And then, of course, that night, my father, who's like very Brooklyn, comes home and he's like, your mother said you might have something that you might want to talk about. You having some questions. And I'm like, let me tell you who I don't want to ask these questions to.
Yeah.
So I said, I have to say I really admire myself at that age because I was very I don't know. I felt I was self-possessed, and I said, yeah, I have been having questions, but it's okay, and I think I like girls, but I also like boys, and blah blah blah. And he kind of started to cry, which was very shocking because he's a really tough guy. And then he said he wanted me to go get my head checked by a psychiatrist, and I said, I'll only go if you come with me. And I was like, it was just such a weird time.
Did you go?
So we went, and I was 17. All I really cared about was driving. Like I wasn't ready to like profess anything about who I would be or end up being with or anything like that. So we go all together. She gives me a psychological evaluation. We all meet separately with her. Then we all meet together as a family with her. She said I was the most mentally stable teenager she had ever had in her office, and that I didn't need therapy, but she recommended that my parents stay on.
Wow, icon.
I swear to God, we walk out of her office. My father gave me the keys to the car. It's the first time they let me drive the car home.
Have you written about this? This is incredible.
I've written a version of it. I did a short film with my sister, Rebecca Feldman, who's a very talented writer and director in her own right. We did a short film called My First Time Driving. But I should say it's worth a revisit. It's worth a revisit for sure.
Yeah, that's stunning. Just like that image of them allowing you to drive them while they've been told that as full-grown adults they may have like more to figure out. I mean, it's wild. I mean, when I was a little kid, I'll never forget one of the things that my dad told me and I internalized was my dad's also a very Long Island guy. And I remember he said to me, he was like, I know everything. And if you ever have a question, you come to me and I will give you the answer because I know everything.
Okay, cool.
And so I think that he was just trying to make sure I didn't, act out and go try and, I think it was well-intentioned. Everything my father ever did was well-intentioned. But internalizing that and then realizing that he, like any man in the 90s and aughts, like that's like my dad's a varsity football, baseball coach, and then the culture around us, like very like patriarchal, male dominated culture. Sure. And I do mean in all ways, as we all know, but to start to feel like my identity was at odds with what that society was saying was tough. And it wasn't like I could go to my dad with that question because I don't know that in 2004 he would have had the right thing to say. Ultimately he did and was lovely and is lovely and such a supporter and like such a wonderful, lovely man. But it's hard when your parents are supposed to be this thing. Yeah. And then you realize they're human. And so it sounds like in that story is what happened was not only did you confront and realize your parents' humanity, but it was confirmed for you.
It was. It really was. And my parents had marital problems. And I realized too, it was my mother who had sort of whispered in my ear saying, tell your father that you won't go to therapy without him.
Oh, that's
and it was because odd. She really wanted to go to therapy with him.
Yeah.
And she was sort of trying to save her relationship. And, spoiler alert, they're divorced. And, but, that was the beginning certainly of seeing them as fallible, vulnerable people for sure.
And all of that catalyzed by your mom making you read this poem in the car.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like something was kind of foisted on you in that way.
Yes. And I think it's because my mom ultimately is a very liberal and very accepting person. I think she knew who I was for long before I did. And I think she knew that I had a father that would be oppositional to that. And I think she was also trying to sort of, embolden me and protect me and also literally change him. And it took a minute, but he is a totally evolved person in that way. He is 88 years old. He was
midlife.
midlife. God willing, I hope so. But he gave a beautiful toast at my wedding, and he has really come around.
It's lovely. I mean, to see people change, sure, but men change.
You
know what I mean? Like, just to watch a straight man, like, that's a very, you have to be, and like, I don't give a lot of credit, but I will say that, you know, I really respect when my dad stands up to his friends who like Trump. You know what I mean? My dad will give it to these guys that like Trump.
Same.
Like, and you know, my dad was my dad was a phys ed teacher and like varsity sports coach for a very long time, surrounded by attitudes that suck.
Yeah.
Attitudes that fucking suck.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to be the person being like, hey, knock it off. Like, care for women, care for minorities, care for queer people, care for trans people, but there's a lot of people out there doing it.
Yeah.
And I think it's important, and I just want to acknowledge that change is very difficult for some people, and you do have to be brave.
Yes.
You have to be very brave to do that.
You really do. You really do. And I have to credit the fact that my father married a woman 30 years younger than him.
That always helps.
After my parents got divorced. And so, you know, she has really helped him modernize. Can I just say that that question you asked earlier of when you were asking what's the age that you wish that you could be?
Yeah.
My answer is 35.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Exciting.
Because I got married at 35, and that was such a lifelong goal of mine that I thought would never be
married.
possible
Make it
to be
35.
married.
Oh, I don't know why I said to make it to 35.
Yeah.
My lifelong dream.
And that's on being queer.
And that's on
It's like if I
queerness.
make it to 30, I remember saying that about.
Oh, yeah.
Please, the moment I realized I was gay, the moment I remember I was 11 years old, and I remember the moment. I remember thinking the emotion was abject terror because I was like, I'll die.
Yeah.
For sure. Or like the world would have totally changed from what it is right now for me to like ever be okay with this or tell people about this. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, honestly, like you say, I like to make it to 35, but I couldn't see
Not
35
now.
for myself because, as you were saying earlier, where were the examples of it?
Exactly.
Where were the examples in media of us?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's true. I mean, like, so yeah, it is sort of poignant to have said that, but I you know, when I was growing up for most of my adulthood, gay marriage was not legal. And I took it so personally because why is that a dream I'm not allowed to have, you know? And so when I finally met my wife, I was 31, and we didn't get married till I was 35 because it literally was illegal because of Prop 8. And at a certain point, I got so mad that I was waiting for like a law to change to do a thing that I felt very inherently, you know, was my right, was my God-given human right to be able to express my love for another person in front of my family and friends. And so we actually went to New York where it had become legal. We got married legally in New York, then came back, had our like wedding in LA, and 6 weeks later, Prop 8 overturned.
Wow. So we
didn't
could have waited a little bit longer.
We didn't wait for the man.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did it the way we wanted to do it.
That's good.
Yeah. Yeah. But that was a wonderful time of my life, 35, you know, and just, you know, being able to fulfill this dream with this wonderful person, my wife, Rachel. And so I would say 35.
Okay. I think it's a very, for some reason,
You love this age.
It's a good age.
Well,
And it's a
that
good
works
age
out
for
because
you.
it's the age you're going to be next,
Yeah.
right?
I can't wait.
November,
When is
baby.
in November? Okay.
November.
He's my Scorpio child.
Oh, okay.
Scorpion
Okay.
child. And
I'm
that's a line
Pisces.
from Precious.
What are you?
Of course you're a Pisces.
I'm Pisces.
Do you know that Pisces are like my people?
I
'Cause
love
what are
them.
you, a Cancer?
No, I'm a Gemini.
You're a
Gemini.
Gemini.
But we all get along.
We get along
very
really well. I mean,
Yeah.
like Scorpio, like we have our like.
Well, Scorpio
thing,
and Gemini,
but-
we get a bad rap. I think
We do.
Scorpio and Gemini's relate because everyone clutches their pearls when we tell them what we
Yes.
are, and we're like, it's not.
Calm down.
Yes, you're
Calm
right.
down.
You guys are the ones that get the big reaction.
Yeah,
and
we
I always
do.
get, oh.
Well, Pisces, I for some reason like I gravitate, especially professionally, towards Pisces. Silver Tree, a Pisces.
I think we might have the same
Kelly
birthday, actually.
Hutchinson, a Pisces.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean Cara DiPaolo, another wonderful writer
Yeah,
on the
she's
show,
great.
a Pisces.
Yeah.
Maddie Dollywall, another writer on the show, a Pisces.
You know, your shows are very Pisces.
Oh, how interesting.
I
Very
believe that
Piscean.
they are, because it's like with Dead to Me, it's like, which by the way, I just have to say while you're here, that's going to be looked back on as one of the great shows.
That's one of the great shows.
Thank you
like
so
it's one of
much.
the great shows with two of the great performances.
Agree about those performances.
I mean, they're so brilliant, but the fact that it's a relationship that on paper on the beginning of the show like should not work at all for XYZ and beyond reasons, but it's just the connection and the empathy that they have for each other, because that's really what it's based in, is empathy.
Yeah.
That's very Pisces.
It is. I feel like you guys have a very similar
Scorpio Pisces is everything.
You guys have a lot of empathy for each other, and I think that's what I'm talking about when I see like there's that warmth between you.
It's an irrigated system. It's water kind of like the pipes are working.
We're a water cycle.
Yes.
We condense, we precipitate.
Okay, yeah, we're mixing metaphors, but it still works.
I get them still.
It still works.
They're mixing, but I'm liking them.
You know what? You know why that happens? It's because I often don't understand the metaphor.
No, I often don't quite stick the landing on the metaphor.
I don't know my words, but I do know my heart. That is one of the most Pisces sayings, and it's my saying. It used to be on a throw pillow that we would sell on a merch website.
Oh my God, I'd buy that.
We will do more. We'll do more merch things.
There will be more merch in year 9 of Las Cultch. Speaking of Las Cultch, it's a podcast that has a segment, and it's coming up right now.
Oh my God, I need some water.
So this is I Don't Think So, Honey. And I Don't Think So, Honey, to sort of break it down, is a 60-second segment where each person on the podcast, its host and its guest or guests, goes off for 60 seconds on something in pop culture that absolutely needs a dragging. And I said in the car, we were just driving back from our shoot.
Yeah.
And I said I had something, and I'm going to do it.
Okay.
This is something that is in the culture, and it's remained. It's not as big as it used to be, but it's more personal. Anyway, here we go.
Okay.
This is Matt Rogers. I Don't Think So, Honey. His time starts now.
I Don't Think So, Honey. Cameo. I can't because, and here's the thing, it's not that I don't like it as a service. I do think so, honey. Like everyone, like getting money from Cameo, doing it, participating in it. Whenever I get a Cameo gift, I cannot watch it. I'm too embarrassed that the person is talking to me. Like if I ever open a Cameo, like years ago, you got me one for my birthday from Sandra Diaz Twine, Survivor icon, and I literally had to watch it in pieces, like throughout a couple days,
30 seconds,
because I couldn't believe she was talking to me. It's so intimate. Cameo. I don't think so, honey. You're looking at me in my eyes through the phone. My friend Nico got one from Tom Sandoval the other day, and I've never watched it because I can't watch Tom Sandoval do a Cameo. I'm too embarrassed. Like it's something, I don't know what it is. It's like when the Culture Awards happens, and people send in their videos. There are ones I have never watched.
5 seconds.
I just can't. I don't think so, honey. Celebrities, live your life. Don't think about me. Don't talk to me.
And that's
Cameo
1 minute.
For $35.
Nico got one for Tom Sandoval to talk to you?
No, it was Nico's birthday a couple weeks ago, and he was sent one from Tom Sandoval, and I was just like, I saw all my friends talking about it, and I was like, I can't watch it. There's something about, because I've gotten them from like Housewives before, because those are fun ones, because they're all on Cameo, and you get it, and you're just like, oh, like I don't know, like what they're told to say to you, when the way that
a little humiliating,
because it's not personal, it's literally filtered, and so maybe it's that I think I'm wasting their time, but then again, it's like they're getting paid,
and they're getting paid.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the cross section between vulnerability and inauthenticity.
Yes,
correct.
Because like it is vulnerable because you're like they need $35. To, you know what I mean?
It's like getting fucked with a bag on your head.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. I don't totally get that, but yes.
Again, I don't think I understand my own
I think it's intimate, but it's like they don't know who you are, what you look like.
Yes, and they're like saying things about you, and it feels a little patronizing.
Oh yes.
And also, but like because you're an empathic person, you feel a little bit like embarrassed for them.
By the way, I used to do cameos all the time.
I was gonna say he's been on.
I used to make money doing cameos, especially during the pandemic, because you could just sit there on your phone and you made nothing but time and just cameo. Like that's not it. It's specifically the act of receiving one. Now that I've done this on the podcast, I'm gonna get tons from my friends who like throw $50. And by the way, it is my birthday, so
that's true.
Now it's really going down.
If you had to get a cameo from somebody, who would it be?
It would be a housewife. If I had to get a cameo from someone, well, I got a cameo from Parvati a really long time ago from Survivor.
Yeah, and now
she's our pal. So I guess what would be like? Who's a housewife I can't really go up to because I'm too scared.
You are quite brave with the housewives. You're braver than I am.
Well, I've been on Watch What Happens Live with a bunch of them, but I don't know. It's like maybe one
Lisa Barlow.
Lisa Barlow I've met. Lisa Rinna.
Lisa Rinna.
Please get me a cameo from Lisa Rinna. I'll be happy.
Okay.
And by the way, she and Harry Hamlin have a new podcast.
Ooh.
And they get into it.
Yes. Let's not talk about the husband.
Let's not talk about the husband. It's called.
Oh, I love that.
Anyway,
okay. So that's mine. Bowen, do you have an I don't think so, honey, on today?
I do. I think
I
by the time
I have to follow the two of you. Oh my god.
Don't worry.
Oh, please.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
This might still be a topic of conversation by the time this episode comes out.
I think if you're talking about it, people are talking about it. This is Bowen Yang's I Don't Think So, Honey, and his time starts now.
I don't think so, honey. Oh, the White Lotus theme song sucks now. It's not customer service. Let Mike White make his creative decisions. He is at the helm of this hit series that you are privileged to be watching.
You're privileged.
You are sitting among. You're listening to three people who know the ins and outs of showbiz very well, and I'm sure none of us here have complaints about the White Lotus theme. It's a new take on it. It's going to be different, and it's a new location, as the tagline in the poster says. Same luxury, new reservations. Something has to be new.
Really good job, guys.
I'm just happy to see Lisa acting down.
Yep, La Lisa.
I'm happy to see Parker. I'm happy to see Michelle and Leslie and Carrie and all of the stars of the White Lotus season 2.
And
I'm just happy it's back.
Oh, I'm so happy it's back.
But everyone's moaning and bitching and groaning about the new theme song.
It's because the second one was such a bop.
Of course.
But they didn't even, it wasn't, here's the thing. It's like, had they tried to make a bop this time and it like kind of flopped, that would be one thing.
People would have been even more pissed.
But this is this is like a score. This is like a different vibe.
It has a Thai sort of like inflection on it.
Yeah, and also
okay.
the fact that people are even talking about the theme song, it all shows you how powerful the show is. Because when do you ever talk about theme songs?
In this day and age.
I dare you to even hum another one. Like it's very hard to make one that breaks through. Okay. That's a 20-year-old theme song.
We love you, sorry, Jessica.
Yes, we love you.
I'm loving White Lotus this season.
Oh, I mean,
I love it every
We're only
season.
one deep, though. We're only one deep.
I'm
in, of course.
One deep.
Yes.
But I watched the first episode twice. I have to say, my favorite moment of the whole episode was when Carrie Coon goes upstairs and she's been being sort of left out by the friends, and she has that one
heave of a
sob.
Yes.
I was like, oh my God, that was... And I was waiting for Carrie Coon to Carrie Coon.
Yes,
I was waiting for some cooning.
And you know she's going to coon out.
Yes.
She's going to carry down.
One of our favorite actors, I would say.
She's a very versatile and very effective actress, I would say.
Fucking brilliant.
She pierces.
Yeah.
Pierces.
And I love that whole cat. I mean, I think it's great. You know who else I'm obsessed with is Amy Lou Wood, who's the British girlfriend.
She's great.
She's great, man.
I'm a Goggins head. I love Walton Goggins.
Yeah.
I love him in everything I see him
He's
in.
going off. And also, to say nothing of Parker Posey. And let me tell you something. A lot of idiots on Twitter dragging the accent.
What?
You relax.
No, relax.
You
everybody.
relax.
Oh, come on.
You let Parker Posey do her thing.
Okay, Posey's gonna posey, and let me tell you what a delight. Oh. She just opens her mouth, and I'm like smiling immediately. I just there's something that she can just fucking eat the scenery.
Yeah.
I love it.
She wasn't the queen of indie movies for not like she knows what she's doing.
Yes.
Everybody, calm down.
Yeah.
You don't know how to make a choice better than her, and I would suggest you shut up.
Oh.
Yeah, or rewatch Waiting for Guffman.
Can you
if
please?
you fucking got.
Teachers.
When she in this last episode, she goes, "Scratch my arm."
Oh, I love that.
That was good. I enjoyed that.
I'm like,
yes.
I wonder if that was a fun run.
But I bow down to Mike White. He's so good at what he does, and evidently he does it all by himself, which is so impressive because I need a room full of writers to lift me up and to help me see everything through. So
brilliant.
Yeah, brilliant.
You know who's going to be on the show in a few weeks? Speaking of amazing actors created by UCB, Natasha Rothwell is finally coming on Las Cultch.
Oh my gosh.
We are so excited. UCB legend.
Huge fan of hers.
Yeah,
Huge
she's
fan.
great.
Yes, I love her.
All right.
It's time.
Okay.
So
I feel okay. I hope that. Okay.
Yes. Okay. So this is a big moment.
It's a big moment.
This is Liz Feldman's I Don't Think So, Honey. Are you ready?
This is gonna
I mean, I don't know if I'm ready, but
Yes,
it's
you are.
happening.
Okay. This is Liz Feldman's I Don't Think So, Honey. Her time starts now.
I don't think so, honey. The Pete's Coffee Shop, moving in across the street from the fancy Starbucks, which is next to the Blue Bottle, which is literally also across the street from a Coffee Bean in my neighborhood.
No!
Yes. There is an empty, beautiful piece of retail real estate that could be literally anything,
Yep.
but it's going to be a Pete's Coffee. Look, I have nothing against Pete's, and I will probably even go there first as like just as an experience
Support,
to explore,
30 seconds.
but then probably also just every day because it's on my side of the street. But Jesus fucking Christ, how many coffee shops can one square block hold before a fucking sinkhole forms and we all get sucked into the abyss of corporate caffeine-driven capitalism?
15
the
seconds, love
empire
that
is
alliteration.
falling, honey.
Yep.
No one needs that many options for where to get a peppermint gingerbread caramel chocolate latte.
Yeah.
Okay, it could be literally anything.
5 seconds.
It could be a Planned Parenthood. It could be a trans healthcare clinic or
Yes.
a Xanax store.
Yes,
It
a
won't
Xanax store.
because of RFK.
Oh, and that's 1
1
minute.
A fourth coffee
God.
shop.
I wish I was exaggerating. A fourth coffee shop in one square block.
Can I ask?
Yes.
Favorite of the four.
Yep, that's that.
Favorite of the
And
four.
why is it? Insert here.
I'm going to be honest. I walk past all four. However, like go to a local coffee shop.
You're so right.
Yeah.
And I usually do. I was gonna say Blue Bottle.
It was. I like a Blue Bottle, but
Yeah.
it's Starbucks. It's Pete's eventually, but it's Starbucks, Blue Bottle. What's the fourth one?
Coffee Bean.
Coffee Bean.
Yeah.
I do like a coffee
I
bean.
mean, it's a coffee
It's
bean, but
cute.
it is a coffee bean in a parking lot. It's in a parking
Sure.
lot
Right.
of an Albertsons.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys have Albertsons.
That is a big Albertsons, that one.
She's a big
she's
girl.
big.
big girl.
Yeah.
We used to have Albertsons in Colorado. They're all gone now. I think the only ones that are left are in California. That's sad. Not me mourning
A chain.
a chain after Liz just artfully took down our corporate driven.
I have nothing wrong with corporate entities, and I shop at places that are very.
Well, this is an
corporate.
iHeart podcast, so shape up.
Yeah, no, I love you. I heart, but
I heart.
But I mean, but truly, like if you're gonna peel back your efforts to like help people and employ people and protect people, then I'm gonna peel back my dollars.
There you go.
100%.
And it is egregious to have 4 on one block.
It's crazy.
It's silly. Like when that space opened, we were so excited by the infinite possibilities. A bagel store, mayhaps.
Of course.
You know, a
Perchance.
flower shop that
You
like wraps
love
things.
mayhaps.
I do.
You know what's so funny? You wrote mayhaps into one of my characters' lines,
sure did.
and I had never heard anyone say the word mayhaps
I
before.
love mayhaps. We're connected.
Yeah, we are.
Is mayhaps in the show? Do I say mayhaps?
I'm pretty sure you do. Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah.
A mouse per snaps?
Per snaps.
Per snaps.
Per snaps is Kelly. Kelly took mayhaps and fucking
Made
and
per snaps.
put it on its little side for per snaps. But yeah.
Per snaps is mayhaps is like cool queer sibling.
Sister, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You queer words.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that as
Yes.
someone who also does this.
Yes, I feel like we are very simpatico. I love wordplay. Sorry, I said it.
Yes.
But I do. I'm a lady of letters, and I like to mix it around and make them sound fun. And,
There was
you know.
one improv I did that there was like a tiny little meeting about whether it was too much of a swing, and they left
A
it in.
meeting
Do you know
about
what I'm
it.
talking about?
Sigourn.
We hit
Say it.
we hit a slight Snugorny Weaver.
No.
And they were like-
you have
they
to
were
keep
like-
it.
They were like, he has to do it the real way because we don't know, but like we do like it. And I was like,
But let me tell you what made it into the show, and let me tell you what made me laugh every single fucking time in
Please.
editing. We hit a little Snugorny Weaver.
We hit a little
It's
Snugorny
so
Weaver.
good. You can't, that's an ad lib.
That's an
me.
ad lib.
Matt
Also an ad
Rogers.
lib. He's with Ray, and I don't want to give anything away for people, but he's with Ray, and there's maybe a room that like maybe has a little bit of a stench.
Yeah.
And Ray's trying to say, "Oh, it's rat piss," and he's like, "That's human piss. I know what human piss smells like. I was single once.
I loved that.
I was single
line.
once as him."
I like
It tells you so
doing
much about the
comedy.
character.
It does.
This has been so much fun.
I
Like,
agree. What an honor. I feel honestly like when I was asked to come on, I really thought I was like dreaming or something. This is like truly a dream. Super honored. I'm a big fan of you both. I think you're both incredible humans and also just hilarious and a gift.
Liz, you're a true culture maker, and you literally, I'm so glad we got to talk about the arc of the L word to now for you, which is truly speaking to your impact and the way you put really important things into the world. And I feel like this is gonna kill me for saying this, but I go on your Instagram and I'm like, oh, thank God we've got like, you're still on it. You're still like out there like saying the thing.
Yeah, you do be saying the stuff, and it's important.
No,
because I say the stuff.
important.
You say the stuff, and I love that you say the stuff.
I need to say the stuff more. Both of you
you're very outspoken.
Are motivating me to say the stuff more.
I think right now the stuff needs to be said, and if we're not going to say it, who will?
Yeah, I mean, and with that, Here to Make Friends, March 14th, which is a Friday, which is the best day outside of today.
Yes.
It's been a lovely day. And you can stream these Netflix series, Dead to Me and No Good Deed, because Liz is the best. And we end every episode with a song.
Can't wait.
Is that a key change? I never thought about that before.
Yeah,
it's a key change.
Yeah.
The Sex and the City theme has a key change. That's actually Roller Culture number 4. The Sex and the City theme has a key change. Bye.
Las Culturistas is a production by Will Ferrell's Big Money Players and iHeartRadio podcasts.
Created and hosted by Matt Rogers and Bowen Yang. Executive produced by Anna Hosnier and Hans Sani.
Produced by Becca Ramos. Edited and mixed by Doug Babe and Monique Laborde.
And our music is by Henry Kapersky.